Hi, we're continuing the laws of Lashon Harah, Klal Vav, Halacha Ches, chapter 6, number 8. And we're talking about the prohibition to listen to Lashon Harah. Because again, in addition to the prohibition to speak Lashon Harah, there's also prohibition to listen to Lashon Harah. So says the Chavetz Chaim, V'kol zeh afilu im hasipor hayalish beineni, asher darko lizar min achet. Upa'amim yikasha bo, v'kol shechein im hasipor hayal ish yari elokim, she'alav shaykh yoser mitzvah asay, the betzedek tishbar amisecha. It's forbidden to believe Lashon Hara on somebody who is someone who is a regular person. And we said earlier that if you hear something from somebody, you have to, even if you know it's true, you have to judge him favorably. The example I keep saying is someone tells you that Shmuel was taking money out of the tzedakah box. So either he was stealing or he was just getting change. So you have to view him like he was getting change. And he writes that that's with a regular person, but by a holy person, there's a larger obligation to judge him favorably because he's known as a holy person, someone who fears God. So if you see this holy person doing something, there's more of an obligation to judge him favorably, which means that even if by the action in and of itself it looks like it's bad, nevertheless, by a holy person, you have to judge him favorably. Okay. And for sure, if you don't judge him favorably and you believe what the person tells you about a holy man, then just like a regular person, you violate the prohibition of judging someone favorably, and also you violate the prohibition of accepting Lashon Hara. An example he gives on the bottom here, it happens very often, he says, is that someone will go into Bezdin, will go into a rabbinical court, and he'll lose. And he'll come out of the Bezdin, and he'll start complaining, oh, these rabbis don't know anything. If I would have went to Rabbi X, he would have sided with me. They just don't know enough Torah, and they made a mistake. And if you're sitting there listening to him, and you believe what he says, and encourage him, God forbid, that's Lashon Hara. And really what you should do is find a schus, find how the Bezdin was correct. That's a very common thing. And there, it's not only regular people you're talking about rabbis that are Torah scholars, which makes it a bigger sin. Okay, halacha tes. Kashem sheshayach iser kabbalas Lashon Hara, be'im hamasaper sipur lo al echad she'asa ata davar she'ena hagan. Just like we said that there's a prohibition to listen to Lashon Hara if we're talking about an action that was committed now. And we said if you hear something negative about somebody, you can't believe that it's true. This applies to other aspects of Lashon Hara like we described above. What were they? Also to denigrate someone with the actions of his father. To Obamaisav Harishainim, or something that this person did himself a long time ago. Since now he does the right thing. Just like it's prohibited to say something negative that somebody just did now, it's prohibited to say something he did in the past. Let's say a person used to be a thief 20 years ago, and now he acts properly. So if you tell somebody he's a thief, you're not allowed to believe it, that he was a thief. And he writes on the bottom here that even if it was technically true, what you can do is that when a person does tshuva, it says that his sins get erased and he's like a new person. So therefore, it's not negative, doesn't reflect negatively on what he is now because he's no longer a thief. But there is a prohibition to listen to this, just like there's a prohibition to listen to every aspect of Lashon Hara, and also applies if you say somebody's ancestors, oh, they were a bunch of murderers. Well, that doesn't reflect on, you're not allowed to say that, you're not allowed to believe it, and even if it happens to be true, it doesn't reflect on this individual at all, because a son doesn't get punished for the sins of the father. That was what he did. That's not what this fellow is doing. And he writes, "B'chol davar shehu genos alav shenitztavinu gamkein shel diskabel devar mesaper lefanenu lehizbaz asayideze beinenu es mi shene'emru alav." You're not allowed to believe anything that denigrates someone. The main principle is called davar sheyesh al mesaper iser aver diburo yesh al makabel iser aver kabalaso. Whenever there's a prohibition to speak Lashon Hara on something, there's a prohibition to listen to Lashon Hara on that thing. Right? He writes here that Right, he writes here that even if you know, let's say this person used to be a bad guy and he repented, and somebody tells it to you, right? You know it's true. So what does it mean not to be makabel it? So he says that because, like we said, he does, like what the Chavetz Chaim says, he did tshuva, he repented, so he's like a different person now. He's not the same person that did those sins in the past, because that's really the power of tshuva. In Judaism, we believe that a person can always repent for the sins that he did when he is sincere, and he becomes like a new person, and those sins in the past do not define him, and he's like a new person. Okay, let's go on to halacha yud. So this is a very, very important halacha, which we mentioned a few times. This is about protecting yourself. You hear Lashon Harah. Now, I hear someone's a thief, and I was going to go into business with him. So I'm not allowed to believe Lashon Harah. Does that mean I have to go and into business with this guy now that I know he's a thief? So he writes, Afal pi sheviranu de kabbalas Lashon Harah dehainu lahachal belibo shedavar emes asur min Torah. Even though we said that there's a prohibition to listen to Lashon Harah, that means to believe in your heart that it's true. Mikol makom amru chazal delachosh miyaboy. The rabbi said you're allowed to be concerned. You're allowed to take precautions. Ubir davar. What does that mean? The tzarich lekabel es hadavar b'derech hashash. Be'alma. You have to listen to what the person says as a chashash, meaning you're listening to him because you want to protect yourself, and you're going to act accordingly so that no damage befalls you. Hanu rakadei lishmor tzasmo, to watch yourself imenu shelo yagilo hezek, that you shouldn't become damaged al yado. V'lo yehazeh davar afilu begeder safek. And he says that this, however, the truth of the matter can't even be like a doubt in your mind. We establish the person on his cheskes kashrus, means every Jewish person has a cheskes kashrus, which means that we assume they're a good person. And if you hear something about them that's negative, we don't believe that it's true. And he says that we're not even allowed to suspect that it's true. Ulechein, he says, therefore, you have to treat him like a regular Jew and do all of the good things that are required to do for a Jew. His value, his standing doesn't become degraded at all in our eyes. Through Lashon Harah, in any matter. But rather, the Torah allowed a person to be worried about Lashon Harah, to protect himself, and to protect others. So the rabbis permitted that when it could come that you'll get damaged from this person, or somebody else will get damaged, you're allowed to protect yourself. And he says, he says now how to protect others, that's going to be discussed later. But for other things, it's forbidden to listen to at all, and to believe. So again, this is a difficult halacha. Let's say again, you want to go into business with Shmuel, and someone tells you, you should really know that Shmuel has a checkered past. He commits fraud. He's a thief. He's stolen from a lot of people. So now, how do you view Shmuel in your eyes? So you have to view Shmuel that he's still a tzaddik in your eyes, right? You have to do him favors if he asks you for a favor. You have to be nice to him. You can't denigrate him anyway. You have to give him an aliyah in shul. However, you don't have to go into business with him. You don't have to go into business. You're allowed to protect yourself so that you don't get stolen. He doesn't steal from you. So there's a little bit of a dichotomy that in reality we believe that he's still a righteous person, but I don't have to do an action to put myself at risk and to be damaged by this person. It is a difficult halacha, but it can be done. The idea is again to view this person in your eyes, as a righteous person, but just to practically protect yourself in other matters, or protect others. And there's going to be a lot of details about how to convey this information to other people, which we will, God willing, discuss in a future session.